Yeah, we're in this is my room, and this series I made during lockdown. So these are the most recent paintings, and I actually made them by cutting up each individual block. I'm feeling a cough coming. I don't know why, but it's not. It's
an open time.
Don't worry. I get these when I talk a lot. I get these coughing fits. Yes, and then it's just out of control. It's like my body's saying, "You're talking way too much now." So I got a little bit of a stuck point again in the beginning of 2020. I was like, what am I gonna paint? I don't know what to paint. Can I even paint? And then Olivia told me, why don't you cut things up? Which is such a create space thing. So I painted these flat, it's canvas sheets. Yeah, so they're not stretched canvas. And then I painted on them, and then I cut each of them up, and then I kind of created these shuffled paintings with them. So here the grid becomes a way of distorting. And in this series, I'm thinking a lot about eco-feminist kind of themes. So the relationship between nature and the body, and the female body, and how we are part of nature. So I've been thinking a lot about the environment and just so much, you know. So these paintings deals a lot with the relationship between the organic body and the kind of structure, and how do we connect the world that we've created that is so structured and so logical and so systematic to something as organic as the earth, and how we are completely incapable as humanity to understand how this earth functions. I mean, last night we watched a documentary, Our Planet. It's a documentary series on Netflix, and I highly recommend it. It's beautiful, where they actually showed that the desert blow so much dust into the atmosphere from the desert that then goes onto the ocean, that then feeds the plankton in the ocean, and then they just show that whole cycle of all the fish that then feed off that dust. And you think that the desert doesn't mean anything, you know, why can't we just use it for something else? But it has this huge cycle that we don't understand. So this series is very much inspired by the way that we've started deconstructing and slicing up things without understanding how they link together, and then trying to kind of map them back together again and seeing how they influence each other, and then some of the the female body and my body in performance and in protest coming through. So I painted a few. So here I'm very scared of painting bodies and portraits. I'm not sure why. I think it's maybe just that attachment to hearing over and over that if you are able to paint portraits well, your head's through, you know, you're going to make it as an artist. And maybe internalizing that as something that I just can't do. You know, I just started telling myself that story, I can't do it. So then Olivia said, cut the bodies up, and then they're not that scary anymore. But then there's some of the whole bodies that have started coming through. So I'm also looking to, in the Cultivating Creativity course, dig into that fear. I want to do portraits for that time, because having a focused, intentional time with something that you're struggling with, I've now seen really works. So even though I just did a few of them, they're coming through, I already start feeling less intimidated when I have to look at a body. So it's just going to take some time and practice and unlearning, I've realized. Yeah, and then I have my gowns there at the back. I also do performance art, and in lockdown, Create Space definitely made me more comfortable with Zoom. So I did performances over Zoom in collaboration with other performance artists. And I make these very labor-intensive dresses as a way to make my female body hyper-visual, as to say, hey, look at me. Look at me for the future. Look at me for now. Look at me, I'm important. That kind of understanding.